Welcome back to the Daily Close, and we have something new and experimental today. We're going to be doing a little bit of a different video, one that's more on technical analysis for the people who like TA more than just the fundamentals. So yeah, we're going to start off. Well, we're going to try and upload as much as possible to keep you guys updated. This is not financial advice. Please do your own research. Use this video as an educational tool and nothing more, but we'll do our best to give you updates on the projects and the main tokens and coins that we think are doing best. So I think that the idea is to cover Bitcoin and Ethereum whenever we do one of these, and then maybe a couple of other projects that are performing quite well or that we think have potential too. So and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification, because we are just a small team. We're looking to grow fast. It takes 2 seconds of your time. It'd be much appreciated. So go ahead and smash that like button if you're excited for some technical analysis today. So without further ado, let's start off with Crypto-pleb, and I believe he is covering
BTC, baby.
The one and only king, BTC. Let's go.
There we go. So I'm going to direct y'all to my screen here for so this is Bitcoin to the US dollar, and I'm actually going to start drawing some of my graphs on here. I tend to use the fib retracement just to get an idea of how the market is proceeding, and I think I want to maybe draw it back from maybe the last, because I want to incorporate both the highest it's been, including the lowest was at before. So perhaps I might just hit it somewhere around like this. Yeah, but putting this on here to the chart, we can see that as many people have seen over the past couple of days, this is on the daily chart, by the way, that Bitcoin and so you'll hear about Ethereum is actually starting to recover after its massive slump, a number of months back. But I'm just seeing here, I'm just gonna zoom in so y'all can see it a bit more clearly, that it looks like we're starting to test this next point of resistance here. Now on my chart, I also have the Ichimoku cloud, so we're obviously in a more bullish area as well. But I'm thinking that if we can get a little bit more volume, if this can pop up a bit more, that perhaps we might have a crossing between the conversion line and the baseline. I can see here indicated by these lines here. And if the cross is going up, that's a very bullish sign that we can see it, potentially making some further moves up. But just for the past week or so, we see a bit of consolidation going on here. I made a little bit of indecision, but we are starting to make a little bit gain going up, and I'm hoping that maybe over the next couple of days we're going to see a bit more testing over this resistance line that I'm indicating right here. If I were to maybe just draw a standard trend line as well too, previous points where we actually have tested this before. Actually, let me just draw this back even further. We're all actually, it's all kind of coming up in line here. We're coming up to some previous resistance points as well too. So this might be a challenging area that if we can push through, maybe some more favorable news and more adoption of BTC around the world, I think this can perhaps usually we find in the beginning of the week we see a bit more action coming off the charts here too. So I'm thinking that if the bull sentiment still remains after this weekend and continues on to next week, then maybe we might be able to see the price being pushed up even higher. Perhaps we're sitting around, what is it, 50,000 now, and we should be pushing up at a higher level, 51, maybe in the next couple of days. That's my bull sentiment on that fact. Some other news that might be able to support it is there's a rise in in peer-to-peer trades for Bitcoin, particularly in Lagos and Nigeria's capital, where they're paying their clients in London in Bitcoin. This is popping up all around the world, as I think in El Salvador, Bitcoin has been made to be one of the main currencies that's used within the country as well too. So this is definitely a bullish bullish news. And then also Bloomberg senior strategist calls Bitcoin a global reserve asset. And people outside in traditional finance are pricing Bitcoin to go to 100K or on a path to 100K. And so, keeping it, obviously keeping this kind of bullish news and maybe more respect for BTC coming out, I think it's just going to directly, as more people read and catch on, it's going to play into the charts even more. More adoption, I think, is going to keep pushing up. So, I mean, overall, we just want to keep looking at the next couple of days to see how Bitcoin closes out. Just got to get a little bit out of this indecision. So I'm just, it's a little bit hard to see because it's so small on my screen. It's just got to get a little out of this little bit of zone of indecision, and more people getting, putting their money where their mouth is for BTC. And I think we should see a bit more action coming on this side here. But that's my viewpoint on BTC. So I'll probably move it on over to BASXD Buddha because I think you're covering ETH, right?
Oh, that's right. Ethereum. Let me share my screen. All right, can you see this?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So Ethereum. When I think about Ethereum, all I can say is it's just pure. All I can give is like pure hopium. I mean, look how man, this chart looks so good. Oh wait, that's not right. So there's a lot to cover with Ethereum. I'm going to go through different time frames. I'm not going to go down to lower time frames like 10 minutes, 30 minutes, or anything lower for scalp trading. This is more of a long-term, I'm going to say long-term analysis, at least in crypto, long-term analysis, talking about days and weeks, not necessarily minutes. So not even the 1 hour, actually. Let's go 4 hour. It's looking pretty busy. Okay, well, right now we're about what, close to 4K, 3,920. I'm on the Bitstamp chart at the moment. We're just lower than the actual all-time high, which was on 44K. Sorry, not 44K, 4,400. Now, if we look at a few of the things in terms of its key levels of support, Ethereum right now is hovering above, it's actually on the bullish end of the exponential moving averages, still above the 55 EMA, and definitely above the 200 and the 200 SMA and 200 EMA. So for a long time, I mean, you don't even see this dip, even ever since July, this period around July 20th, July 19th, actually, when it made this massive run. It's been on the bullish end of the 55 EMA. So I think you're just going to continue to see continuation there. If you look at the bullish or bearish divergences, we see that we're having a bearish hidden divergence coming up. And so, I mean, in terms of this momentum oscillator, I think in the next few hours for the 4 hour chart, you're going to see a bit more upward movement. Now, one caveat there is that you don't actually see too much volume here. So, I would tread cautiously here, because with these sort of moves, you want to make sure that there is volume, but at the same time, it's more of a supporting indicator. It's not necessarily the main indicator. So it's just something to be careful about. One of the aspects on the 4 hour is the actual stock RSI. Right now, it's actually just, what's more important is to look at this purple line, but it's just about bouncing off the 50. And so we're still in a sort of neutral zone, and we're not expecting it to go down any further. But if it does bounce off the 50, then we're looking for more continuation upward. And the last thing I want to show in terms of the 4 hour is the volume profile. Now, we have the sort of line of control here and the red line, this thick red line. And if you look on the, actually, let me just turn off the EMAs. There we go, easier to see. So these high value nodes are the ones in turquoise and purple. What that means is that you have this massive order block for the past, I want to say, how long is this? Oops. I want to say from around August 7th to about August 30th. You have this really good consolidation order block zone. And it coincides perfectly with the high value node here, which is around 3,200, which is to say that it's actually formed a very strong foundation. We're most likely not never, can't really say because there's non-zero probability for everything, but you're not most likely going to see anything below this in the near future. And if you look on the right hand side here, I gotta stop moving my mouse actually. But on the right hand side, you see green and red volume profile. And these are sort of the low value nodes. And what that actually means is that there's not a lot of activity. Even if you go back to, if I also include the previous all-time high, it's still considered a low value node and low activity. What that actually means is that we're going to actually see less contention, less friction for Ethereum to go up. And again, as I mentioned, we did form a very strong foundation here in this order block around 3,200. Now, that's for the 4 hour. If you want to go into more of a daily chart, I'm not going to do the 6 hour, 12 hour because I think it's quite similar to the. It's not going to be too similar to the 4 hour, but I don't know. I don't see too many half day traders or swing traders. So I will jump into the daily. And let me just clear that up real quickly. So going over the same indicators, we have the daily actually looks much better, I would say, much better. I'm sure the 2 day as well, right? You see the stock RSI in the oversold area, which is not entirely a bad thing. It can actually, if we look at the bull run, for the most part, it typically stayed within the oversold area above, just hovering around 70 to about 90 and 100 for most of the period between October and March. And so just because it's oversold does not actually mean that it's meant to go down in the near future. Especially in a bull market, it's actually quite normal. And so, as I was saying, the 2 day and the daily both are in the oversold area, looks very bullish. If we go back to 4 hour, again, it did dip down and it looks like it's bouncing out to 50. But if we look at more higher time frames, which we want to look at for these types of markets, Ethereum just looks very bullish. I feel like I could talk about this forever. Now, I'm not going to bring that up. Hold. Oops. That's not what I want. So going back to the EMAs, compared to the 4 hour, we're much higher than the 9, the 21, and the 55 EMA. I mean, these we're so much higher, which again, it is oversold technically. Overbought technically, but yeah, if we look at this RSI with the EMA, it's actually looking quite safe. So, right. If we look at the actual volume profile, it's going to look quite similar to, I think, the 4 hour, but again, the low value nodes are at the top, and we're not seeing too much friction, which is to say we're probably not going to have too many algo trading bots trying to buy and sell at these prices too strongly. We're probably not going to go down past the 3,200 space. And if we do look at the actual recent momentum oscillator for the RSI, we do see a bearish divergence. But like previous ones, now what I'm actually looking at are these actual red tickers. Previous ones as well, especially during this consolidation phase, just because it's a bearish divergence doesn't mean it's going to actually go too far down. Again, we are making very good market structure here. We have not had a lower high or a lower low than the previous. We've not broken market structure ever since July 20th. So all I can say is this is super bullish. One caveat is that the volume is not too strong. And I think that's it for ETH. I mean, it's just this is a high probability bet to continue to go upwards. So this is one of my favorite altcoins to actually jump into. Full disclosure, I do own Ethereum. I don't know anyone who doesn't actually.
I don't think you can call ETH an altcoin.
I know, and that's I mean the contentious.
The flippening is happening.
It is probably this year. Okay. Is that the last thing? Actually, one last thing I want to cover is let's just look at the fib retracement levels. So from the high to low, if you are a day trader or multi-day swing trader, again, we probably had some bots sell here at the zero. Sorry, excuse me. We're probably going to see the next run up past 0.236 and breaking the previous all-time high. And honestly, I think sky's the limit from there. And if you are swing trading, I would most likely play off of these fib retracements and these fib levels and buy and sell. But manage your risk appropriately. If you want to do your take profit in thirds or halves, that's probably sensible. We don't know if it's going to consolidate anywhere up here in this space. So yeah, but again, very bullish on this. Market structure is not broken. Just be careful about the volume, and depending on how you want to trade with the different time frames and whether you're scalping, swing trading, ETH I think is long-term bullish for sure. All right, that's it for me. I think knxqtr, over to you.
Yeah, so I'm going to cover a bit of a wild card, and in future videos we can cover more than one if you want. It depends what sort of reception we get with these videos.
Okay.
But today I will be covering, let me make sure I get the right screen. Are you guys seeing, can you see that, Atom?
Yep.
Yes.
So yeah, one of the projects that I want to cover today, it's not one of the best performers, which is probably a good thing because that means it's got more potential to run. But it's actually Cosmos, and the ticker for that is Atom, ATOM. A little bit confusing for some, but I've been bullish on this project for quite a while, and the technicals are now looking very, very good actually. So similar to BASXD Buddha, I want to go through the long, medium, and short-term timeframes, and just focus on the main points, and give you my thoughts on where I think price action is going to go and what's going to happen, in the next couple of weeks. So let's start off on the weekly time frame. So this is the weekly chart for Cosmos. If I look at this chart, this is not something that I can be bearish on. Ever since this level here, what's this price? In about $9, we've basically just been going up. We haven't even made a higher low. I do expect sometime in the near future, maybe it could be in the next couple of weeks, it could be in the next 3 or 4 weeks, we do come back down and make a higher low somewhere, and then continue further up. Having said that, this is looking pretty strong right now. I wouldn't consider this candle here low. It's just sort of continuation of the trend. But you can see volumes picking up a little bit in the last few weeks. This is definitely a strong recovery. It's not, the thing is, it's not had a massive recovery and broken all-time highs yet. We've seen things like Sol and things like Axie,
ADA.
and ADA,
Yeah.
break the new all-time highs. So what that means is that it's not showing as much strength at the moment, but it's got a lot of potential. And if we look at some of the indicators here, so I like to look at market structure, momentum, and volatility. So with market structure, you can see here, it's creating new all-time highs. Nothing bearish about this weekly chart. I would be wary of a little bit of a pullback where we would make a high low, as I mentioned earlier. But so far, I think just continuation of the trend. If we put the Bollinger Bands on as well, it's coming up to the top of the Bollinger Bands. I would like to see a close above there, and that would be very, very strong. That's about 27, let's call it $27.2. And then I'd be very, very confident in saying that we're going to make new all-time highs in a big way. So market structure is bullish. If we look at sort of the momentum, this is the RSI that I have here. These blue lines indicate hidden bullish divergence. If we zoom into this, we can see we're playing off a bit of hidden bullish divergence. We've got 1, 2, 3 drives of hidden bullish divergence, and we've got into the bullish control zone, which is good, which is what I like to see. Bear in mind, this is the weekly chart, so it is more long term, point upwards. So we've got one check with the market structure, we've got another check with momentum, and I use the BBWP for volatility. So this is a direction agnostic. So just because it's going up doesn't mean price is going up. This is volatility. So if we see prices going down and volatility expanding, that's usually a bad sign. It usually means there's a lot of sell pressure, and vice versa. If you see these BBWP lines expanding when price is going up, that's a very, very good sign. It means that it's very unlikely that it's a fake out, and volume is coming through as well. So just zooming on this, we've got a volatility again expanding. During this dump, we had a decrease in volatility, which is what you like to see, and now we're heading into another uptrend and recovery, and we're getting an increase in volatility as well, which is great there. It's above the moving average. It's crossed above the moving average in July. Very, very bullish stuff. There's not much I can say about this, not much bearish things I can say about this chart really on the weekly. If we check on the daily, here we have again a bullish market structure. We've got this move up here, came back down, made a higher low. What's interesting is if you draw sort of like a channel, so a lot of the coins were trading in a big channel for a while. I'm just going to remove this ray. So if we draw this parallel channel, you have a lot of coins like Ethereum, like Bitcoin, any other coin you name it, was generally trading in this channel. And once we broke this channel, you can see that things got very, very bullish quite quickly. I mean, we came up to this level here where we've got a bit of resistance with the previous highs. There's confluence there, which is about where we are now, around $24. We came back, tested the top of this range almost perfectly actually, made a higher low, created some hidden bullish divergence, and then we're going up again. So what I expect now is maybe a little bit of consolidation, maybe come down, and create another higher low. I mean, I would be a little bit scared if we came down anywhere below, let's say like $22. I think that would break the sort of trend, but as long as we're above $22, I'm just bullish on this chart. Again, on the RSIs, we're in the bullish control zone, which is good. I would expect it to make a sort of rejection and go back up into the oversold territory. And on volatility as well, we are getting a little bit of a decrease. What's the opposite of expansion?
Okay,
good question.
English not my first language, obviously.
So we're getting a bit of a dip in volatility here. As you can see, we're moving up. So I would expect us again to consolidate before making a move up to towards the sort of the 90 percentile, where I think we will start to break all-time highs. So the all-time high here on a wick level was 32. I do think we're going to reach that in the next few weeks. This is, if things stay as they are, it's looking very, very bullish. Again, changing the volume profile is very important. During this range, you had a very sort of like consistent ebb and flow of volume, and then suddenly you got a massive increase in volume, and this is supported by price action as well, which is beautiful. Is what you want to see. So that's the daily. Let's have a look at the lower time frames as well. I'm going to cover the 4-hour. I like to trade using the 4-hour sometimes. Now the 4-hour tells a little bit of a different story. You can see it after reaching new all-time highs, it came back down, made a higher low. I would say this is still bullish market structure. Got a higher low, higher low, higher low, and you're making higher highs too. We did reject once from that higher high, from the peak. We came back down again. This is probably a higher low here, I would say. So market structure is bullish. We're consolidating a little bit. And if I put the BBWPs on, which actually this, to read this, what you want to look at is phases of expansion of the BBWP. Sorry, not the BBWP, the BB bands, the Bollinger Bands, and sort of like the squeeze. Contraction. Contraction. That's the word. That's the word. Contraction of the bands too. So if you see contraction of the bands, it means very likely that there's going to be a big move, a volatile move. This is the Bollinger Bands, by the way, is another volatility indicator. So we can see we're squeezing quite tightly now. So I do expect a big move, whether that be in the upwards direction or the downwards direction. I do expect a big move coming up soon. With RSI, we're coming down along with price action. So nothing to be worried about on the 4 hour. I would like to see us bounce from the neutral zone. If we start going down to the neutral zone, I would expect a move back down into the bearish control zone, where we would see this actually start to break the market structure as well. So as I was mentioning with the Bollinger Bands, the BBWP is literally sitting on the floor right now. So what this means is that there's no volatility while we're having this consolidation. Once we start to see this rise, once we start to see an uptick in volatility, we want to see the price action actually move up with volatility, momentum move up with the volatility and price action, and that's when we're gonna break these all-time highs. But I would say for us to be able to move, and if I go back onto the daily, for us to be able to start moving back up to $27.80 and up to like $30, I would like to see this get a little bit of volatility, get a little bit of volume in there, and then I'll be confident in saying that we're going to make a big move up. But for now, still bullish on the low time frames. Let me delete these real quick. And then lastly, just to cover very quickly on the 1 hour as well. The Bollinger Band's getting very, very tight. I would expect on a shorter time frame a move out of these bands. Again, either in the upwards direction or the downwards direction. Volatility has been very, very low since 2 days ago. I'm sitting on the floor here. I'd like to see this move up, along with a move up in price action as well. If we see volatility is staying on the ground, but we're getting a move in a certain direction, I would look at that as maybe a little bit of a fake out, maybe a little bit of a bull or bear trap, into the liquidity zone, and then a move in the opposite direction. Everything's fairly neutral on the 1 hour, the short-term time frames here, and we're playing out a little bit of bullish divergence, but we are sitting below the neutral zone as well. So for the short-term time frame, I would like to see us start moving up and volatility to move up as well. So yeah, that's it really for Atom. I think it's still got a lot of room to grow. You might hear a lot of people shilling things like Sol. Looking at this chart is absolutely insane. I wouldn't be confident in buying at these levels. I would look for a sort of like a medium-term pullback first before buying here. But if you want to compare where Atom is compared to Sol, and they're both layer ones, if you want to compare, Atom is still below its all-time high, so it's around about here right now, I would say. So if you want to compare, and the same with ETH and the same with Bitcoin as well, Sol is definitely leading the market along with ADA, Cardano. Atom is sitting around here, so we're starting to see a little bit of volume come through with Atom. And if we do see that along with bullish momentum, we're going to see a similar move to what Sol has done. So we're still very, very early. I think that the recovery has started and the lows are in. For the long term, the macro lows are in. But yeah, hopefully that's giving you some insight into Atom and what I think is going to happen in the short, medium, and long term.
Who wouldn't be bullish on that?
Yeah, the whole market is looking pretty bullish right now. So hopefully, we can continue to do these videos. Again, we'll continue to cover BTC and ETH, and we'll cover a couple of wildcards. If you guys have any suggestions that you want us to cover, leave it in the comments below. We appreciate all the comments. Please give us a like, give us a subscribe. I'm sure you'd find a lot of valuable content on this video, on all of our videos. So please do that. But for today, I think that covers everything.
There you go. Thank you, boys.
Cool. So yeah,
Indeed.
hope you like the new content, and we'll see you again very soon.
Sounds good. I'll be with you, boys.
May the pump be with you.
May the pump be with you.